Well, he may be the only actor to have played an exorcist, Jesus Christ, and Satan. And now in a new movie with Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock, he plays a man who doesn't speak. We're so pleased to have with us a legendary actor, Max von Sydow, right here with us. Thanks for being here. And of course, our own beloved Alexandra Cheney with the Speakeasy blog. Yes. Max, this character that you play in this film that takes place basically a year after September 11th, extremely loud and incredibly close, you play the renter. Tell us a little bit about who this man is and how he fits into the film.
Well, I could tell you some. I shouldn't tell you all because
a little tease.
There is a secret with him which I'm not going to tell. But he is an old man who has had. He was in Germany during the Second World War, and he was in Dresden, which was, annihilated. The city was bombed to nothing. Nothing. It was an awful attack. But he saw his family, his parents, and his true love die in this attack. But he managed. He survived, and apparently, guilt feeling, whatever, made him to decide. I will never utter one more word in my life, and he doesn't. Instead, he writes. He's a totally normal person in other ways.
Right.
The only difference is he doesn't speak. He writes his thoughts and his.
And on your hands, you had yes and no.
Yes.
He answers questions that way.
Yes, it's more practical. So instead of immediately right, yes, he had no in his right hand and yes in his left hand.
Alexandra, tell us how the renter fits into the rest of this film. He is accompanying a little boy around the city in search of unlocking some secrets after his father dies in the World Trade Center towers on September 11th.
Correct. Max plays, his character doesn't even have a name. He is just the renter, and he, for part of the film, will go on this kind of grand journey through the boroughs to try and track down if the key, the little boy, Oscar Schall, if it fits into anything, and Max just accompanies him on this journey as a guardian, parent, partner in crime, and a little bit of a sage mentor with some very wise words of encouragement.
Yes,
but not uttered words, really.
But not uttered words.
No.
Written words.
He doesn't actively try to influence him, but he is very discreet in his ways.
But he does. He influences.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
In preparing for this role, you've had this career stretching back, I think, 63 years to 1949. I think 11 films with Ingmar Bergman. How did you possibly prepare, and what was different about preparing for this role where you don't utter a word? How do you prepare for that?
Well, I prepare the same, whether I speak or not. This is the first time I don't speak, but that is of no importance. For me, it is important just to know what does this character want to do in this story. What is his ambition? What dreams does he have? What does he want to achieve?
Right.
And it's the same with every scene. Every scene, what does he want to do in this scene with this guy here and this little boy? What does he want to do? And when I know that, and when I know what the other characters want to do in that situation, that's when eventually the emotions come, or when I find maybe the emotion, and that creates the situation, the drama, or the joke, or whatever it is.
The joke. And yet you had to execute that just by facial expressions, body movements. You didn't have the luxury of your voice to convey that.
No.
No, very tricky. Was it tricky? I shouldn't say.
No,
not for you, of course.
No, interesting. I enjoyed it very much.
And he's getting tremendous, I'm not going to make you brag about yourself, but he is getting tremendous buzz from critics about this being really, this relationship being one of the central parts and the heart of the movie, really.
Well, Max has only ever been nominated for an Oscar, and this year is the year of unspeaking parts, especially with the artist. But a lot of people are saying, if you see this film, this is the man to watch. It is way due time for him to win that Oscar.
And with someone like yourself who has such a long history and such a formidable resume, you were working with a virtual unknown in the acting world, this young boy, Thomas Horn, who most people only knew him for winning Kids Week on Jeopardy! What was it like working with him?
It was a pleasure. He is a very brilliant, very intelligent young man.
Which we knew from Jeopardy!
Yes, yes. But he had no experience at all of any form of acting. He never acted in any films, no, not in commercials, in nothing. But he has a he's a very bright boy, and he turned out to be very quick in understanding what it was all about. I met him before the production started, and we read a scene together, or we did a scene together with the director, and he read his lines very squarely, and I thought, but Stephen Daldry is a very good director,
right.
And he had good people also who worked with him apparently. And when I came back to start filming, he had already been shooting for a month or so, and he was totally professional.
He'd gotten to the swing of it right
he knew
then.
exactly what it was about, and I never felt obliged to take him apart and say, listen, I think you should do like this instead. No, he knew what he wanted, and he knew what he was supposed to do.
And to both of you, I wonder the timing of this film, roughly a decade after the September 11th terrorist attacks.
Yes.
Did it feel still fresh when you were acting it? Did it feel like this was the right amount of time to have passed before you tackled this?
I cannot tell. You shouldn't ask me, I think. I was not in New York when it happened. I was somewhere else, but as so many of us who were somewhere else, we all suffered with New York and the New Yorkers when it happened.
The world suffered.
Yes, the world suffered. At least how should I say, the emotionally intelligent world.
Right.
Yes.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yes.
And you're in terms of the timing of this in the movie world, ripe?
In the movie world, it very much resonated. I mean, there is a shot with Sandra Bullock standing up in her office, and you see the towers and you see the smoke coming, and you almost flash back to all the visuals you did see on TV. It's very fresh, it's very ripe, and I think it's very well timed with, the monuments, the tower is still being built, but there's finally a place that people can go, and I think that was timed very well with the release of this, because it's closure on all angles, if you will.
And she gives a wonderful performance, I must say.
And Sandra is
extraordinary, very, very good.
And the movie is extremely loud, incredibly close. Thank you so much, Max, for being with us. You did an extended interview with Alexandra that will be online at WSJ.com. We're so pleased you joined us here on Lunch Break, Max.
Thank you.